What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, James Charles, old YouTube golden boy, now in a ton of drama and controversy, seemingly all the time. Recent claims and allegations have come up against James Charles, numerous ones with the exact same pattern, all happening on Snapchat, all with people who allegedly lied about their age when they were underage, but James Charles thought they weren't. So he got flirty, a bit of flirty shirty, and maybe a touch of dirty Bertie because he sent them pictures as well. Multiple people have come forward against James Charles. He issued these statements where he would say, oh, but these people lied about their age, so it doesn't put me in the wrong. If they lied about their age and they're teenagers, you're still the adult in the situation and you should be the responsible one. But it seems James Charles is just thirsty. He's a thirsty little sister. But today, he has finally made a video about all these claims titled, Holding Myself Accountable. With the white background, James Charles is here again. How many times have we found ourselves in these situations? So we're going to watch it. We're going to see what he has to say about all of this because I'm interested. I'm sure a lot of you are interested about this because he is most definitely in the wrong here.
James Charles here, and today I'm going to be...
Why is he whispering? Whispering like you can't even hear him. I have to crank my volume up to 10. I know it's a serious video, but you don't have to talk like this all the time because no one can fucking hear you.
As many of you guys know, about 2 years ago now, I was involved with a very public online scandal in which some fellow YouTubers made some very serious accusations against me, and within the past couple of weeks, similar accusations are being made again, and I think it's very important that I get on camera and talk to you guys honestly about what is going on.
Alright, so he claims he's going to talk to us honestly in this 14-minute video, which, you know what? David Dobrik's barely broke 10 minutes, the first one barely 2 minutes, so I give James that. He has the length factor on this apology video.
Today's video is going to be from the heart, and I'm going to focus on what happened, the conclusions that I've come to, and most importantly, holding myself accountable for my own action.
Let us see. Will this burn in flames as another disastrous YouTube apology, or will it actually be half decent? So he starts off saying sorry to anyone he's hurt and his friends and family because of how embarrassing all of this is.
I need to say sorry. I owe a massive apology to anybody that I've hurt or anybody that I've made uncomfortable with my actions. And I also want to say I'm sorry to my friends, family, and fans that have to watch another one of these videos because you shouldn't have to, and this is really, really embarrassing.
Like I even said before I even started this video, the only reason and only times I watch James Charles is in this setting, and it seems pretty frequent. So James Charles starts off finally explaining the recent claims back to back that have come out against it.
In case anybody isn't aware of what's going on, within the past couple of weeks, 2 different people, both under the age of 18, recently come forward saying that they had inappropriate messages with me on social media. One of them being from last year and one of them being from more recent. In both of these cases, I added these people on Snapchat, asked how old they were right away, was told that they were 18, believed them, engaged in a flirty conversation, and then later on found out that they were actually 16.
If you haven't had to catch up, that is it. And also, general rule of thumb, if someone's miraculously 18 on the dot, on the nose, every time you ask them their age, they're probably not 18, especially when some of them look like they just started high school. And James's fan base isn't a mature fan base. I would assume that it's mostly young teens who watch James. And I mean, when you look at his meet and greets and fan meetup, definitely seems to be the case. He goes on then to talk about how he wanted to come on camera hot, heavy, firing, guns ablaze, pull out all the receipts, all the stops, and then he realized that he is in fact the adult here.
Upon finding out, I was immediately embarrassed and blocked both people. Later on, when I saw them making videos about it and those videos going viral, my immediate reaction, completely honestly, was to be really, really upset. I wanted to get on camera and film another No More Lies video where I gather all my receipts and all my screenshots and try to tell my side of the story and then just move on from the situation. And now, looking back, that was so stupid because as I did more research on these topics and self-reflected, I realized that the receipts and the screenshots and the specific details of the interaction really don't matter because I fucked up.
He goes on to say how these conversations shouldn't have even happened.
These conversations should have never happened, point blank period. There's no excuse for it, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I take full responsibility for that.
Yes, James, very true, very right. It shouldn't have happened. You shouldn't be having these conversations with minors at all, especially because you've had these situations prop up. You would assume you would have learned something before it came to this. Now he sees, I guess.
I trusted the information that was given to me rather than the information I could have and should have gotten myself. In both of these situations, doing research into these people's public social media profiles would have revealed their true ages, and therefore these conversations would have never happened in the first place, but I didn't do the research.
Yeah, there was a lot of people showing evidence and proof. These people James was talking to had their ages like 16 in their bios and their TikToks. Super easy to verify, and it takes 2 minutes to check. But James was a bit too honky for that one. He wanted a slice right there and then and was willing to risk it all.
Is what is so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. It's moronic is what it is. It's you being an influencer with so many subs and just not thinking about the repercussions of your actions. And again, as I've said, it happens so many times now that surely you'd be like, all right, this time I'll probably check their bio at least, which isn't even a good way to identify it really. People can also lie in their bios. He then goes on to say sorry again to the people he messaged and flirted with and, you know, sent these pictures to.
My job and my responsibility to verify who I'm talking to, and therefore there is no one to blame for this other than myself. To the guys involved with this situation, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I added you, I'm sorry that I flirted with you, and I'm really sorry if I ever made you uncomfortable. It is completely unacceptable. Being reckless, and after looking back and finally realizing that this was my own fault.
He was being reckless. I'd like to say he was a bit too onky for his own good. And it is weird to me that someone like James, who's so famous and so, you know, in this LA scene, couldn't just link up with someone in real life and is like relying on these Snapchat e-dates and fan interactions for this kind of thing.
All other areas of my life, my friends, my business, I like to think of myself as pretty put together and on top of things. And I couldn't understand why relationships were the one outlier. Why were they not working? Why was this area of me so different? And I finally came to a conclusion. It sucks and it is ridiculously embarrassing to admit this, but I think I have to, and that is that I'm desperate.
I guess that answered what I just said. I haven't watched this. That literally just answered what I thought. Yeah, James Charles just admits that he's desperate, desperately honky. These are the reasons why he would message these people on Snapchat. I believe it. He must be desperate if he's doing all of his stuff. Still doesn't excuse it. Still doesn't excuse anything that he's done. However, I believe it. He then goes on to talk about how all these situations combined, and you look at all of them, the amount of people that turn out to be 16 and really young who he's messaged starts to look like, and you know, it's not hard to come to that conclusion that he's actively seeking out younger people, in which he goes on to address.
I understand that with these videos coming to light, it's really starting to, not even starting, it's really looking, period, like I'm actively searching for younger people to be in a relationship with. And I just want to say firsthand that that is absolutely not the case. My hope has always been to be in a relationship with somebody around my age or older that I can relate to and that can make me laugh. And unfortunately, I've not been able to find that person yet, but the idea of actually being in a relationship became so important to me that I was willing to trust too quickly, miss out on red flags, and most importantly, not take the precautionary measures that really anybody, but especially somebody with a public platform, should be taking before talking to anybody. And there's no excuse for that.
There is no excuse. Ben goes on to say he wants to walk us through how he got to this stage and how he reflected, okay? It kind of just sounds like, you know, internet got on top of you, everyone started calling you out, and you'd be scared into ever going to Snapchat again, which I hope is the case. Like, this should probably put the fear of God into you, that Snapchat clearly isn't a place for you to be, James, ever again. If you do go back, this shit will happen again.
Honestly, I think that I owe it to you guys to kind of walk you through the reflection that I've been doing, so you know that I'm taking this seriously. In 2019, my dating life became even more public than it already was when I was called out and labeled as a predator. You guys, I feel like at this point, all know the story, so I don't want to go back into details, but pretty much I had to get on camera and prove that I was being lied to. I had all the receipts to back it up, but at the time I also recognized that I definitely needed to change the way I was going about dating because clearly something was not working. And in that video, I made a vow and a promise to myself and to you guys as the audience that I would be way more careful moving forward. And that promise was not one that I kept.
No, it was not. So don't blame the audience or anyone if they find it hard to believe this promise, since he's already made these promises and not followed through.
I just thought that I had really, really bad luck and that I was being taken advantage of, when that wasn't the case at all. And I had the mentality that I could reach out to literally anybody and use my Explore page and For You page as a dating app, and eventually I would just happen to find the right person. But that's just not how dating works, literally at all. It's gross, it's weird, and it's desperation. I just really thought it was important to share my thought process and the conversations that I've been having with myself and professionals behind the scenes in order to help myself fully understand the situation so I could properly hold myself accountable.
Also, the internet, I'm pretty sure people's reactions have played a big part in this. The outrage of people who've seen these situations and been very concerned by them, I'm sure has guided you to get to this conclusion. He then goes on to talk about power imbalances and how he didn't understand a power imbalance between him and a fan and a viewer, and how they would just do anything just to talk to him, basically.
Power imbalance became a really large topic of conversation on social media, and rightfully so. In 2019, when I had my whole situation, I was accused of abusing my fame, money, and power to get what I wanted. And when I responded to that at the time, I said that that was disgusting and that I would never want to do that. And to this day, I still stand behind that sentiment 1000%. So when it was getting brought up again, I got really, really frustrated and was trying to understand, because I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I know that this situation shouldn't have happened. I know that this conversation shouldn't have occurred. I take responsibility for that. But at the same time, like, they DM'd you first. They lied to you. They flirted first. Like, you didn't use your fame, money, and power to get anything. But I've now realized that that mentality is completely wrong, because a power imbalance can happen even when it's not intentional.
I understand what he's saying. I have a hard time with it. Because especially someone as large as James Charles, who is a legitimate celebrity, he must experience people and fans come up to him all the time and see how crazy they get when they see him, and just know how much people adore and admire him. If you're getting thousands of DMs a day and all this attention, a lot of it is because you're famous. It's like the David Dobrik apology, where he didn't realize that he had influence over people's actions. I don't know if people are just not very self-aware. Maybe they are, but I just don't understand how you can be that big for that long and just not understand this concept. He then gives his blessing for people to talk about this as if we wouldn't talk about it anyway.
There are a lot of people speaking about this online, whether it be sharing their opinions, arguing back and forth, or most importantly, holding me accountable for my actions. I understand that posting this video today is not going to stop those conversations, but is going to spark more of them. And that's something that I am completely okay with, because I really feel like these are topics that we need to be speaking about a lot more.
We appreciate the permission anyway.
I'm a firm believer that when scandals or situations like this happen, you can get on camera and upload an apology video where you say sorry a million times all day long, but the only way to actually show and prove that you are sorry is through action and change.
Literally, that was the exact thing David Dobrik said a week ago. I swear somewhere in LA, there are these YouTube apology professionals who write out these templates. Like, I swear, these apologies always have the same exact shit in it. We know this already. We know that we aren't accepting this as, oh yes, James has changed, he's better now. Everyone knows this concept that actions speak louder than words. I've heard this like a million times now. I'm sick of it. Just do it and shut the fuck up.
The situation has been so embarrassing and I'm ashamed, but like I said, I'm now educated and fully understand what went on. And I'm making a promise to all of you right now on camera that I will be way more careful moving forward with every single person that I speak to.
Making the promise again. That's a James Charles guarantee, guys. Oh, how long? You're gonna be a good boy now. Yeah. I think I got deja vu watching that promise. His promises obviously don't mean shit, so I don't know if people are gonna take that.
For You page and Explore page are not dating apps, and I will stop treating them as if they are. I also have already started asking for proper identification from every single guy that has either reached out or that I was speaking to, and will continue doing so for the rest of time.
Or just delete your Snapchat. What happens when a 16-year-old who has an 18+ fake ID shows you the ID on camera, you take it, and then this all happens again? People find a way around it. People will find ways around it. It's just dumb at the moment for you to even consider keeping on Snapchat.
I promise that something like this will never, ever happen again.
He makes another promise again. He promises and promises and promises it won't happen again. But he might still use Snapchat though. Just show him an ID this time, And then he's good to go. Booty pics for all. All right, that's about the size of it. He apologized to his friends, his family, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. I'm super pessimistic, so I'll come out of this being like, well, you promised it once, didn't follow through. You're going to stay on Snapchat and stuff as long as you get IDs from people, but then people can use fake IDs, and this can happen again. And then it happens again, what? We're back to the third time of promises again. I think he should just stop using Snapchat. I think he should stop maybe even interacting with his fans in that way. I take these apology videos as well as people sometimes just saying the right things. The fact he isn't bashing the two guys and not going to show receipts just shows that he is learning and maturing. He knows there's a deeper meaning as to why this has happened. Shut the fuck up. I hate these comments. No, he hasn't learned or matured yet. He's just took the internet's advice and he messed up so bad. You know, people need to realize as well, with these apologies, their backs are to the wall. Yeah, that's about it for James Charles' apology video. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Promises, promises. Subscribe to the channel right now if you're here. Just please subscribe. It really helps the channel. Like the video to spread it around. Every like counts. If you made it this far and you want to support the channel, please leave a like. Comment down below. Can we get 1,500 comments? That would be great. Every comment helps as well. Genuinely, let me know your opinion. I read all of them. My social medias are all down below. Follow them up. And that's it for this video. Until next time, fuck off.